I mean, you can call it a Star Wars story if you want. I'm going with Star Wars Episode 3.5.
10 degrees up.
Lower!
Are you sure this is the way?
They have landing trackers. They have patrol squadrons. You've got to stay in the canyon. Keep it low. On the right!
There's a 26% chance of failure.
How much further? I don't know. I'm not sure. I never really come this way. But we're close. We're close. I know that.
Well, now there's a 35% chance of failure.
I don't want to know. Thank you.
I understand.
Now! Put it down now!
The wind!
If you keep going, you'll be right over the shuttle depot. Watch out! Hey!
Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's finally out. Yeah, this is the first in who knows how many Star Wars stories taking place in the Star Wars universe, but outside of kind of the canonical 1 through eventually 9 films. There hasn't been this much hype on a movie since the last Star Wars movie. Can it live up? Here's 5 things you might want to know about Rogue One. All right, let's get to it. Now, I will tell you how I feel here, but I have to start with this. Manage your expectations. That doesn't mean it's bad. Not at all. Far from it. It's really good. I'm just saying, and I felt this in myself. That's probably why I need to say it more than anything. I felt myself wanting this to be the perfect everything movie, and no movie is going to be that. Just go expecting to watch a movie and just enjoy the experience for what it is. All right, now that we've all managed our expectations, my goodness, this movie is amazing. It is so good. Almost everything I wanted in a movie like this. Let's start here. It puts the war in Star Wars. This is a movie that understands what Star Wars should have been about all along. It's interesting. I almost feel like this is a Star Wars movie more than any other Star Wars movie because it's about war. It feels like less of the talk in the air, politics on the hill or in the Galactic Senate or whatever, and so much more about boots on the ground. And because of that, it's visceral, it's real. You buy into it. There's a texture to it, an authenticity to it that I don't think the other movies really have. So I think that's to the movie's credit, and I think it's something you're going to really love about this one. Oh my goodness, there's so many things I want to talk about with this movie that it nails and hits out of the park, but I have to focus on 5, so I will do that. Maybe listen to the podcast if you want to hear it all. There were some specific things I wanted to mention, and this is one of them. This movie makes A New Hope a better movie, and not just in a small way, in a big way. This movie fills plot holes from A New Hope. This movie gives you context for A New Hope. This is what the prequels should have been. Movies that inform the movies you already know in an interesting and important way. That's why I say it's not, you can call it Star Wars stories. I get it. It's a branding thing, but that's semantics. This takes place in the universe in such an essential way. It should be numbered amongst them. That's my opinion. Call them Star Wars stories, but it's so essential to the story that without it, I think you really lose something. Another part I had to pull out and talk about is the end of this movie. It is phenomenal. The scope, the depth, the action, the stakes, everything feels like we're building towards something big and it pays off at the end. This is one of the best story conclusions to a movie that I've seen in a long time. And you know why it works? I'll tell you why it works. It works for all of the things that we haven't even talked about and won't talk about in this review. The acting, the characters, the humor, the story, the dialogue. Understanding all of those things builds us to a place where we can really live in the end of this movie and feel the weight of the impact for what's going on. It's incredible. So it's obvious I really love this movie. I'm gushing all over it. It's going to be an A+, right? No, there's actually a negative here, and it's a big one for me. Kind of a doozy. I won't go into spoilers here. I'll just say there's a specific use of computer-generated technology that is groundbreaking in this movie and also doesn't work. At all for me. And it's one of those things, maybe for some people it will. It's a really great attempt at something big and interesting. But here's the thing. It was unnecessary. It was an unnecessary risk. There were so many ways around it And because it doesn't quite work, for those moments where that CG is happening, it completely took me out of the movie, distracted me. I don't like to be reminded that I'm watching a movie. And when those moments would happen, it was obvious that this was some sort of creation and I was watching a movie. And for me, that didn't work. Now, many will probably be able to look beyond that, and I envy you. I really do, but it was a big deal for me. Overall, Star Wars story, Rogue One is a great film with one distraction that was big enough for me to bring it down to an A-. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. Before we do, I do want to let you know if you want to connect in other ways, maybe see more thoughts on Rogue One, great way to do that is to hit up the podcast. It's called SiftPop, SiftPop. We talk for an hour on pop culture, and then we do spoilers, another spoiler episode that's usually like half hour long. So we'll be doing that with Star Wars here this week. Happens every Friday. You can listen live or download it later in whatever podcast player you like. But again, just search for SiftPop, SiftPop. You can also connect on Twitter. Aaron Dicer is my name, AARONDICER. Just search at Aaron Dicer on Twitter and give me a follow there. Like to chat movies there. And if you want to do the YouTube thing, feel free to give us, subscribe, comment, have fun with all that kind of stuff. You can click the info button right up here for other reviews, how to support the channel, any of that kind of stuff. So I'd appreciate it. All right, on to the best ever challenge. We always finish with the best movie ever in a particular category. You also try to identify my choice in the category. This time we're going with movies with the number 1 in the title. Feel free to stretch it however you need to, but the number 1 has to be in the title somewhere. For mine, I'm going with the one that has this year's best actor favorite driving a remote control truck in a very interesting race. Take a guess at mine in the comments. Leave your choice there as well. As always, I'll give you 5 extra seconds to hit subscribe by clicking the logo right down in this corner. And the person who gets my best ever choice right first will get a point. Here's your 5 seconds.